Welcome. You're watching Channel 9 Fairfield Television. I'm Susan Kessel, and here today is Stacy Herlin. We're going to be talking about a new community event that's happening, Fairfield Artwalks, and telling you all about it. Stacy, you've lived in town for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
How long?
21 years.
So you know the community really well.
Some days I think I do, some days I think I don't. But I'm getting there. I have raised, my husband and I are raising 5 children in this community. 5, I wouldn't be raising them anywhere else.
Oh, that's
Absolutely
wonderful.
would not raise them anywhere else. Having come from bigger city environments, there has been year after year numerous reasons to recognize that the Midwest, a small town in the Midwest, and a very creative small town in the Midwest is absolutely the place that we're happy to be raising everybody. Raising, most are now raised, but we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
I understand. Have you always been interested in the arts?
I have, for most of my years in Fairfield, mostly been focused just on family.
On family.
In the recent years, I have started stepping more into the arts. I think in my younger years there was some glimmer of doing arts, but instead of going in the direction of arts, I went the direction of teaching credentials and teaching school. And so following any interest in the arts really never happened. And I began doing some artwork. I did some sculpture for a while with Chris Bennett, which was very fulfilling. It was a wonderful thing to do. And then I set that aside, and really only in the last 3 years or so have I started doing anything to do with art. I've just been dabbling in some watercolor. But in the process of doing that, I have started looking where I had been a little bit blind, I think, to what was really happening in the arts in Fairfield. Mm-hmm. I've started having a little more a broader awareness of what the dynamics are and what has been happening, and more so, which is what has prompted me to start the organization that I did and to start these First Friday Art Walks, was the amount and the degree of talent in Fairfield is really off the charts. It's amazing. It's an amazing amount. It's not only abundant, but there's quality, real quality. And I'm watching it, and I just came in as the last kid on the block. The arts has been getting a stronger and stronger foundation for decades. So stepping into this over the last few years, I'm recognizing something that appears to me unstoppable at this point, the further development of the arts. And I just felt like stepping my own 2 feet in and doing what I could.
So you're not only an artist, but appreciative of the arts, and now you're trying to do something to promote the arts in our communities.
Yes. You know, the truth is, Susan, I'm not trying very hard. I went, as many people did, in August to the Fun Fest that had been organized. In August, there were many activities for this 1 week in August. There was the thought, well, a lot of people are out of town. What if it's too hot? What if this? What if that? Well, almost every event that happened that week was really a success. One of the events was a gallery walk, where people would just walk from gallery to gallery. And I think there were 7 locations that participated. It was tremendously successful. And the measurement of success in that case was, it just brought people out. People gathered together. People thoroughly enjoyed the evening. They went home a little more enriched for having seen some visual arts that were educational, nice, pleasant, good for the senses. So I sat with, excuse me, I interrupted you. I sat with, about a month after that, I sat with 5 or 6 artists who, you know, thank you for saying I'm an artist. I don't really think of myself really as that, but I did feel like I was sitting with artists. There were 5 or 6 who came to this meeting, and we went back and forth with the possibilities of why not do an art walk. And there was a thought, well, we could do this maybe every 6 months, maybe we could do one a year, maybe quarterly, and if we do you know, why don't we set it all up and establish it so that the first one starts in 6 months or so? That's not like me.
You want to dive right in there, don't you?
It's just
start
not,
it now.
It's just not like me. I sat there and I listened and I listened and I listened and I thought, I am so used to, probably from raising kids or whatever other reasons are contributed to it, I'm just so used to doing things on a dime and acting, that my thought was, what are we talking about that is so complicated here? We have the artists. We have talent in those artists. We have numerous galleries, which most people don't even know about.
A lot of them don't.
We have a lot of good, well-meaning people who would love to come and visit these galleries. So I said, I don't see any reason why we can't do one for October, which at that point was 6 weeks away. And it met with a little hesitation, but I said, I'll take it on. I will just see what can be done here. So in that 6 weeks, we gained 10 art locations to be in a brochure. The brochure turned out to be pretty nice. Which this is it right here.
You mailed these out to some people.
Yes. And there are 10 galleries in this. Each one of the sections describes what that gallery will be showing for 3 different exhibits in the months to come. So I have, to tell you the truth, been a little bit floored at how quickly this took on. And you know what? It's not really anything I did. It was just the time.
Well, you worked really hard, a concentrated effort to get this going.
It was.
And it pulled together, and that's what it takes.
It takes someone just saying, all the ingredients are here, I will be the one to put them in the bowl. That's all it was.
Now, to keep it going.
That's another story.
To keep it going.
That's another story. Yes.
I know I've been involved in the arts around forever. That's what I was born to do. And sometimes you suffer burnout, and I've seen a lot of things come and go, and I don't want to see this one come and go because I think it's a good idea. The arts in Fairfield have always been a good thing, whether it was productions in the Field House at Parsons, very well attended. Art Association formed 37 years ago. Events and classes attended. And something I want to say to people is, some people think this is just for people that have a lot of money or whatever. It's not. When my husband and I were first married, we were very poor. And it was a wonderful thing to be able to be involved in some of this. It's good for children. It's something to do. A lot of it is free. So you can't use that as an excuse.
No, and these gallery art walks. Now, if I could, Susan, back up for 1 second. Just the concept of art walk is something that is commonly done in most art communities around the country. It's one evening during a certain number of hours where all galleries are open. They usually have hors d'oeuvres out. It's usually made into quite a gala event. There are numerous restaurants involved, oftentimes offering different specials. There are shops that are open, especially the gift-related shops. And people just stroll. They stroll and they stop in wherever they want to stop in. Yes, it's free, and it's completely delightful, and people end up looking forward to it. In places like Ashland, Oregon, it's done every Friday night. Places like Laguna Beach, it's done once a month. Places, Iowa City, for example, I believe they do this twice a year. I'm not positive of that. So it can be different in different locations. In Fairfield, we've called it First Friday Art Walk because the plan is that it will be the first Friday, obviously, of every month.
Which I think is a wonderful idea, and it shouldn't be that hard to catch on. And I'm not sure if, since you've lived here 20 years, if you lived here when the stores used to be open on Friday nights.
Absolutely.
It's a great way. People are ready to kick back for the weekend and go out and do something.
Now, having done a little bit of some questioning around town, the stores and not the restaurants so much because they have a different schedule, but the shops, at the time when that stopped, the shops were actually pretty glad it stopped because every Friday night got to be a little bit
Right.
much. But on the other hand, now that this has come up, the number of shops that are actually excited that this is only once a month, and as I was quoted at an interview recently, if we're going to pick one night where we want to show what Fairfield can showcase, let's just pick one night a month. It doesn't have to be all month because then that involves far more that has to be presented.
Right, I think that was a good
One night a
idea.
month. One night a month where the restaurants are open, they offer specials, the shops, the galleries, everything we have that is the best of Fairfield, so that I want people to be thinking, oh, it's a first Friday, let's go downtown. Or to attract people from outside of Fairfield, oh, it's first Friday, this is when things happen at
Right,
in
it'll
Fairfield.
be set
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. And if we had done it quarterly, people have to stop and think, is this the right month or isn't it? If we did it every 6 months, it doesn't have the same
Right.
momentum to it.
Right.
So we are going to run into an interesting thing, of course, with winter. So there is still a little bit of some question whether we'll do the January, February, or March. It may be that a couple of galleries actually bow out and don't do it for those months, which is perfectly fine. They should all just be able to do exactly participation as much as they want. My guess is we will do it, and the reason is because I think that we will be having a bus shuttle service.
Okay.
And the shuttle service will stop at 3 different places around the square, then stop at Entree, which is on Broadway, across from City Hall, across from the
Post
Chamber
office.
and across from the post office. But in warm weather, that's only a block and a half
Right.
walk, but in winter, it will stop there. And then this can also include the Broadway building, which will have 3 or 4 locations of artwork there. And at each of these locations, so someone would, to help offset the cost, which is really minimal anyway, someone will pay $2, maybe $3 to get on the bus the first time, and then every time they get on it for the rest of the evening, as many times as they want, it's free. That will just help offset the cost of it. And children, of course, will be able to be on it for free. But I think the fun thing is there will be an entertainer on each bus, and the entertainer will tell everyone what will be at the galleries at the next stop. They will be telling them some Fairfield lore and some facts, possibly, depending on how much courage the entertainer has, some songs. It went from thinking only a few people will use this to thinking everyone is going to end up using the bus.
Because I want to
Because
hear
it will
all
be
this
fun.
stuff.
And so it also will offer the opportunity. There are a few key artists who work out of a studio outside of their home. I mean, in their home, but it's
Right.
part of the space. It possibly could even include this. It just offers options as to how this will
I think it's a
unfold.
great start.
It's really,
a lot
really
of room
exciting.
to grow, a lot of ways it can grow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exciting. The Fairfield Art Association has not been able to participate yet.
I
but
have plans for them.
But I
though.
hope that we
I have
can in the
plans.
future.
Yes, yes. I actually would like to see a Fairfield Art Association show, if not every month, every third month. That is just one place that's designated. How many members are there in Fairfield Art Association?
Well, we have a lot, but most of them are supportive. They are not artists themselves.
So the artists, active artists, it's still numerous.
Well, not as many as you might think. We have a lot of supporters within the Art Association.
Well, you give me 20 artists and we could make a show that could last for years.
We're excited about this, as you can tell. And what we're talking about, once again, is the first Friday's Artwalk. And I'm with Stacy Hurlin, who had this brainstorm idea and is putting it together and making it happen. My husband and I went on the first one, and we took, my daughter was back visiting, and my husband had a broken leg, and we drug him around, and I made him go upstairs. But it was a wonderful time. I felt like it was the place to be on the Friday night. It was really happening. Everybody was out. It was wonderful. You had food and drinks and seeing everybody. It was a social gathering everywhere you went. It was fun.
There will be some different things with every month, too. For example, the first one had 10 galleries. This one, November 1st, It's from 6 to 9:30. This one has 14 galleries. 4 more have joined in. The Beatbox is doing a youth gallery show. There is another, I don't want to call them youth, but they're definitely, by our standards, it's another youth gallery. They are 5 or 6 young men. Their talent is off the charts.
My daughter's boyfriend asked me about that.
Yes, so the Wonka.net, that's another gallery that is doing something. And one of the special things for the November show is a show, an exhibit at City Hall.
Okay.
When our mayor, Ed Malloy, took office, his wife, Vicki, most people don't know this, his wife, Vicki, remodeled City Hall. And when she did that, she sought out Iowa, particularly Fairfield artists, who had paintings that kept in the theme of Iowa landscapes. There are now 20 pieces.
It looks wonderful.
And it is wonderful. And almost no one has seen it unless they hand carry their water bill into the City Hall. And so Vicki and Ed very graciously have asked if they could host an art exhibit at City Hall for the November 1st Art Walk. So our mayor has actually invited many people from out of town. I invite anyone. This is your chance to meet the mayor and his wife. And it's very exciting. It is an entire show. Susan has one painting in that show. 20 of the known artists who have always been known in Fairfield all have one piece of work in there, possibly 2, but I think mostly 1. It's very impressive. And not only is it impressive, it defines Fairfield.
Exactly.
And someone can walk out of there feeling very proud of the artists that are in Fairfield. It's a wonderful show, really wonderful show.
And I know before in the City Hall there was artwork, but it's totally redone.
Yeah.
New. This is all originals.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's what Fairfield's about, and once again we are excited about this. So we're talking about First Friday's Art Walk, and the next one coming up is November 1st. And these brochures have been sent out. There will not be another brochure mailed?
No. I apologize. I did not bring something to you. In addition to this one, which covers the 3 months, everything that is happening in terms of exhibits for 3 months, in this brochure, there's also a yellow guide, which comes out every month.
Okay.
So the yellow guide includes entertainment that is happening, different locations. Marshey School Choir is singing at Henderson's on this art walk for 5 minutes out of every 15 minutes on the quarter hour. Temple Fine Arts Studio is, they have a Isadora Duncan dance performance that they do. It's a 2-minute dance performance every 15 minutes on the quarter hour. If it were warm weather, common to most art walks around the country, there would be jugglers on some corners, there would be mime, there would be balloon tying, there would be, someone playing guitar on another corner. We can do all of that when the weather gets warm. We are in the Midwest, and we'll do this the way you do it in the Midwest, and we may do a little entertainment on some bus shuttles and within restaurants and within galleries.
It sounds wonderful. And these brochures and the yellow one are available around town at the Chamber of Commerce.
At the Chamber of Commerce, they're at most restaurants, most shops. So the way someone would do this is come Friday, if not sooner, you stop in any number of those places. They're probably in 30, 35 places around town. You stop in, pick one up on the square, and open it. You'll see a map, and you'll see the list of the galleries and what they're offering, and that's all you need. Off you go. It's free.
You pick and choose.
It's free. You pick and choose. You go in all of them. You go in any order you want. You go in 3 if that's all you want to go in. And
this is not necessarily purchasing art. I mean, there were lucky artists. There were a few sales last time. I know
there were 5 sales.
So I did hear about that. That's wonderful. It's great to support artists that are trying to make a living. But it's an exhibit where you're going to look at the art. You're going to visit with the people, the artists, your friends. Bring your friends. Come out and do this, and then go out for dinner.
Someone can find art in all different mediums, in watercolor, in oil, sculpture, ceramics,
Collage.
and collage. I actually do want to put out the request that for this winter that Fairfield residents really give it a try to do all their shopping in Fairfield. I think it's actually more a possibility than it's ever been before. The price ranges are anywhere from $15 something. Actually, Mark Wilkins has incredible, very practical, functional pottery, and always has new things in his studio, which is on the alley. The alley that is sort of taking on an artistic ambiance to it because the number of galleries that are moving in there is that alley between the square and the courthouse.
On the north side of the square.
On the north side of the square. There are that's actually where a majority or large number of the galleries are. I would just really like to invite everyone to consider a large amount, maybe take on the challenge that all their shopping happens within Fairfield.
What a great idea.
I think it could happen.
What a great idea. And if you're having visitors from out of town, show off what we're doing here and
have them come on the first weekend of every month.
Right, invite someone down every weekend, every first Friday.
Well, the other thing also, if I can add this at this point, is not only will it be our Fairfield artists showing all the time, already I have a photographer from Chicago who wants to know which gallery he can show at this spring. There is an artist, a very well-known artist in Spring Green, Wisconsin, who is checking into a gallery for her to show her own work in spring. There are 2 or 3 potters who may be showing, if not spring, in summer. So I don't feel like we need to hoard what's wonderful here. I would like to invite everyone from out of town to come. I would like anyone to show their work in Fairfield. It would be a wonderful thing for everyone.
And I know Bill Teeple's gallery, Gallery 51 East, has a regular exhibit of a variety of people. I think there are 2 galleries there.
Yes.
I'm going to just list these. I'm going to go as they're numbered here. Number 1 is America's Diamond. Number 2, Manuel Corridon. Showcase. Number 3, Entree Cafe, the North Room. Number 4, Gallery 108, and that is also featuring the works of Christopher Kuffner. 5, Gallery 51 East, Bill Teeple, who currently has Jerry Felix, Fairfield artist. 6 is Henderson's Frames and Gallery. In December, they're going to have a small works show exhibit. Then there's number 7, Nava Swan.
Mel Sarbeck is Nava Swan. It's photography. Beautiful work. Really beautiful work. In fact, I might add, since you have brought him up, he just got notice 3 days ago. If anyone wants to pick up Time magazine this month, he took the photograph that's on the cover, which is... the theme is Bin Laden and bombing, but he took the photograph and it was chosen for Time magazine. So it just points again, and if you go further on this, we have John Staiano from New York showing work at Prairie Moon. I don't think most people in Fairfield actually realize the caliber and the number of artists. It's just not apparent because it has not been brought collectively in this manner before from so many different angles for people to come and see it at a time when it's convenient for them to come and on a regular schedule like this. So it's very exciting. It's really very exciting. The Skyline Studio is Betsy Huffsmith and Bonnie Dinkle's
and that's
work.
Above the old Penny's building. They have a great little studio up there. Then number 10, Winter Moon Pottery and John Baker Jewelry, and that is down the alley on the north side of the square.
Yes.
And then there are cafes and restaurants and just on and on and on. Specialty shops around the square that are participating in this.
You know, an interesting thing has come from this, which I didn't know that I had signed up for. I have been getting artists calling me about,
I understand.
I mean, it's kind of surprising to me because I didn't plan this, but I have had artists calling me about every 3 days now for about the last 6 or 8 weeks, asking me if I know of any places around or on the square where they could have studio space, or what gallery they think that I think they could show their work in. So I wouldn't know. I don't know these things. But then in the same day, on many occasions, I'll have a building owner on the square calling me and saying, my place will be, the lease is up as of such and so date, or I have this space available. I would like it to be a gallery or an artist's studio. So all of a sudden, I am very entertained lately.
It's very
I'm very
exciting
entertained.
in what this can do to our
Yes.
community.
Yes, it is.
It's
It
here
is.
to work with. We can make something
is.
positive out of it.
Yes.
I think it would be wonderful for artists, myself included. I've often thought about having a place.
Yes, well, there are a couple available for you right this minute.
Well, we need to
can
connect
talk.
with a group
We can
to
talk.
make it more
Yeah.
workable.
Yes. Now, when you say this is good for Fairfield, yes, it's good for Fairfield. The average person who has no interest really in art, who is maybe watching this, would think, fine, I guess it's good for Fairfield. But the additional way that this can be good for Fairfield is if we can, as a town, focus on the first weekend of every month and have Saturday be an all-day dance extravaganza or an all-day art and craft fair or an international food festival or
It just ties into anything we
Yes.
want it to tie in.
we will draw people from out of town who now have a reason to come to Fairfield and spend the night and fill their gas at our gas stations and eat at our restaurants and shop in our shops.
Exactly.
And it's not very hard to do.
Right.
It's not very hard to do.
And tying into this is the Civic Center, which I'm involved in, and your husband is now on the Civic Center board, and it's a project that we've been working on for myself for 7 long years. And a lot of people out there still don't understand a lot of what it's about. It's about more than just art. It's a lot of things. And we're talking about revitalization for Fairfield. We gave a presentation the other night about the Civic Center, and one of the people there was a realtor. And he told me that in the first week after our sign for the Civic Center was put up, he had 2 people from out of town come to him about the possibility of purchasing a storefront or someplace downtown to put a business. So I was so excited because that's revitalization. That's things are starting to be talked about happening for the future.
We have to have more reasons for people to come to Fairfield. And there have to be reasons that educate people, that inspire people, that entertain people. And those are going to be the things that give people a reason to come. It's not enough to come from 15 miles away just to come to Walmart. It's
You're
not
right.
enough.
You're
It's
right.
not enough. We need more for our children. I am tired of seeing our children move away in order to find a more enriched life. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's very many steps away to accomplish what we'd want. The Civic Center would be a perfect addition, and from my perspective, to do with these art walks, the Civic Center would have a gallery of its own. It would be part of the art walk. The number of events that could culminate at the Civic Center at the end of an art walk,
It all
it's
ties
wonderful.
together.
It all ties in
We're
together.
all related to each other. We all work together. We're all connected. Last night at the Chamber's 75th anniversary celebration, we had people talking about our past, Tom Loudon, and how strong we were. We're a can-do community. We're progressive. We're willing to change when we have to do things. We've got everything going for us. Let's keep going. Let's look to the future. We're not going to lay down and die. We're going to keep going.
Some of it is also our responsibility to improve how we present ourselves. And my feeling was, as I have become a little more familiar with all these facets, I'm only talking in the area of art now, all these facets that do art. You have Mark Schaefer, who is so valued at the Fairfield High School and has done art
and the historical too.
And the historical aspect of it. And you have people like Chris Bennett, you have people like yourself, you have artists who have the name Fairfield and those artists' names really just go synonymously together. You have the Fairfield Art Association, who, you've been in existence for over 30 years. MUM has a very strong art department. There are people like Lynn Marshall and Elaine Arnold, who actually moved away.
Right.
Wonderful artists.
And have given to the community
And
by
have
having
given,
pieces
yes,
of
the number
the
of pieces that are left around, yes. And then you have someone like Bill Teeple, who he's newer on the scene, but he is absolutely has a vision. He is sticking with that vision, and he's holding out until more gathers around that in support of the arts. But that's newer on the scene. And I look at all of that and I think, from the outside, even with all of this, what do we have that shows what we do? When this brochure was made, I was in Spring Green, Wisconsin, and Madison. The number of places that this was handed to them, and they said, wow, how did you get this many galleries to all at least even take the time it takes to think alike to put a brochure together? That's what we need more of. That's what we need more of. I feel like we now have something that could be given to the Eastern Iowa Tourism Board. They can send it out, and it makes us look like what we are, which is really an established art community. We just haven't brought it quite to the surface as much as I would like yet. We can hand these out at different art and craft shows around Iowa and elsewhere, and it gives them a clear, in one piece of paper, a clear indication of how much is happening in Fairfield. There are so many ways that this is an example. It's not the only way. There are numerous ways that we could do more of this, just increasing our credibility of what really is happening here. And so I'm having fun. I'm having fun. It's been very easy to pull together because, like I said, all the ingredients are here. I just stepped in. I was the last on the block here. I just stepped in.
Help pull it all together, and this wonderful idea for First Friday's Art Walk, and the next one will be taking place on Friday, November 1st, and the time is from 6 to 9:30 p.m.
Yes.
The perfect time to go see things, go eat, or go eat and then come see things. Eat at home, come out. Sometimes there's games. You can still go out before the game.
Yes, the last Art Walk actually had a number of people who came right at 6.
Because they wanted
and
to
I
come.
could tell that they wanted to get through as many galleries as they could, and then they had other things that they were getting to right away. Then you have others who have enjoyed a leisurely dinner at any one of the many restaurants that we have.
Exactly, which is another great thing that we have in Fairfield.
Yes, which is probably another
show.
That's another
Right.
show. So I encourage everyone to come, and it's fun. It's fun.
Thank you, Stacy
Thank you.
Herlin, for joining us, for being such a good player in our community and pulling this event together.
Thank you for having
First
me.
Fridays, Art Walks in Fairfield, supporting the arts, creating a community of artists to recognize. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.